Everybody, Bowling Fool here. So I thought I'd do a short video. I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes on everything that you need if you decide you want to start drilling your own bowling balls. So the reason I started drilling my own bowling balls is last year I was buying a lot of balls. I kind of went crazy and I had about 20 plus balls, and I was doing the math and I said, well, damn, the price it cost me to get all those balls drilled, I could have had my own press and everything. So that little light bulb went off and said, you know what? I'm going to start doing my own stuff. I'm also the type of person that I like to do things myself. So I don't know if you're the same way. If you are the same way, then this is be perfect for you. If you like to relinquish control to somebody else and pay for that convenience to have somebody else do that skill for you, then by all means, go do it. But me, I like to do things myself. And so I decided to do some research late last year on what it takes to start drilling my own bowling balls. And here's what we have first. So I'm going to kind of go from left to right. So the first thing you're obviously going to need is a drill press. I bought this brand new. This is a Delta 18-900L drill press, and it was around, I think I paid $1,500. I got a discount from Home Depot, and I paid about $1,500. I think I got about $150 off with a coupon. You don't have to go new. You can go on Facebook Marketplace and find some for anywhere from $200 to $700. The drill press that I was looking at besides this one was the Wen. It's another floor drill press, and that was about $700. The difference between those two is this had a 5-year warranty. The Wen had, I think, a 1 or 2 year warranty. It wasn't that long. So I was kind of sold on the 5-year warranty. Hindsight, I probably would have bought something used. I would have waited and found something on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp and probably bought it a little bit cheaper. This is probably the most expensive drill press you're going to find brand new. I mean, they have some that'll go around $2,000 or whatnot, but this one is around $1,500. There's a couple different models you can get. So you can get like the one that just sets on your bench top right here. I decided to get the floor model. And another thing you're going to need too, if you do get another thing you can do too is you can also look for a mill press too. So I was looking at mill presses as well. A brand new mill press is going to set you back at around $3,000. The only problem that I found with mill presses is it doesn't give you enough distance from table to spindle. It's just barely enough. And one of the things that sold me on this drill press was the fact that it had a six inch quill travel. So that quill goes all the way down to 6 inches. You don't ever have to worry about coming up short. Without getting too much into the drill press, because I did a whole video review on this drill press. If you look at one of my past videos that I made, I'm not going to get into the drill press, but just know that we're going to kind of add things up from left to right and show you the cost of everything. So drill press, $1,500. It came with a keyed chuck. I did not want a keyed chuck because I'm drilling at least 1 or 2 balls a week through mine, my brother-in-law, and also our friend Dilo. So I drill up balls for them. So I wanted something convenient. I went ahead and paid, I think it was just under, I think it was $370 for this. And this is I also did another review on this. This is the Lombrick keyless chuck. It's got a 1-year warranty. One of the best investments I ever had. Super easy to replace the drill bits in and out of there. And I haven't had any problems with it yet. I've had it for 3 months or so. The next thing you're going to buy is an XY table, right? So you can't just buy a drill press and get a jig and expect to do it. So you're going to have to get an XY table. I did a review on this as well too. This was $115 on Amazon. This is the Vevor milling table. It's a very common one that you find on Amazon, and it does the job. Is it super high quality? No, but it does the job. I haven't had any problems with it. I've kind of tweaked a couple things here and there. with the, like for these handles, I just glued it in there so they don't move. A couple dabs of super glue and it stays sturdy. Without it, this is pretty loose. If you don't want to do glue, you can do bushings on here. And I also put hex head bolts on here to make this a little bit tighter, right? The next thing you're gonna need is obviously a bowling ball jig. I make the bowling ball jig, so one of the reasons I made my own is because I saw the price of jigs online. The brand new ones were like $1,300 to $1,500. Went all the way up to $2,500 to $3,000. I thought that was a little ridiculous. So I decided to start researching how to make my own, right? So we started made them. Went on Facebook, see if anybody was interested, and lo and behold, a lot of people had interest in this. So I had a whole bunch made. To date, I've sold about, I think about 15 or 16 so far, and everybody's pretty happy with it. This is currently the version 2 bowling ball jig. It's made out of billet aluminum. I sell these for $600. Everything included, all your hardware, and this will fit on the Vivo or milling table, and also if you have a mill press. So say you have an Innovative, a Jayhawk, a Grizzly, a Jet mill press table, it'll fit on there. So my PSO, I actually sold one of my PSO and it fits perfectly on his mill press. So he uses specifically for cutting down plugs. Haven't had a problem yet. It works awesome for him. So very happy about that. So bowling ball jig, if you have the patience to wait, you may find some online. Like I said, Facebook Marketplace, a couple of Facebook bowling pages may have some that people are selling, but some of those you got to be really quick because they sell very fast. And once again, I decided to make all this just because I don't have much patience. When I want things, I want them done now. Another thing, I don't know if you've seen the video, is a shop vac. So make sure that you get a very good shop vac. This is the DeWalt Stealth Sonic. Right, I think I got this at Lowe's for about $114. Super quiet. If you watch my videos, ridiculously quiet. I don't recommend any other shop vac. I had an old Home Depot shop vac, super loud. Definitely, if you're going to get a shop vac, get the Stealth Sonic. If I'm drilling a couple balls a week, I'm pretty particular, and I'll clean this out. I'll clean the filter out once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on how many balls I drill. And it's pretty easy to clean, right? Just dump all that stuff in the trash and then hose out the filter. And the next thing is a spinner, right? So you want to start sanding your balls. You want to start polishing your balls. This is a great investment. I actually bought this on Innovative right before Christmas. They had a holiday discount code. I think I saved 50. It was 40 or 50 bucks off. So I bought this, and I think it came out to $270 if I'm not mistaken. And this is the half horsepower. So I believe they have a 1/3 horsepower and a half horsepower. I decided to get the half horsepower just because I figure I'm gonna get good use out of it. It was only like 30 bucks more for the half horsepower. So why the hell not? Definitely need to get this if you want to start doing all your own stuff. Coming over here, you want to start doing bowling ball layouts. This is the Turbo ProSect, right? So this is 75 bucks. And on the website, it shows a blue one. You get, I think, whatever color they have in stock. I didn't get a choice of color. So I don't know if I had a choice of color because I wasn't able to choose, but I'm not really too picky. You get the black one. You're going to need these for laying out bowling balls. If you want to do the dual angle, right? If you don't want to do the dual angle, you come over here and you can do this is a Storm, what is it, like the 2LS system. I believe that's what they call it. And I think I paid 25 bucks for this. And it's just like an arc ruler you put on top of your ball. And it's another way to measure layouts, right? I don't use this. I pretty much use the ProSec, but the brother-in-law uses this system and it works pretty well for him. This is an armadillo. If you guys ever heard of one of these, I think I paid like 65 bucks for this. Just a piece of plastic fits over your bowling ball, and this determines what your pap is. So you go to the bowling alley, you make sure you roll on fresh oil or make sure the lane has oil on it. You put this on top of the ball, and you line up whatever line is closest to the oil line on there, line it up parallel to it, and then you put you mark a little mark right here on the side of the ball, and that's pretty much your PAP, your positive access point. This is very valuable if I want to know my PAP. My PAP has not changed in about a year, just over a year. So I started bowling again back in March of 2024. Check my PAP, and it's pretty much the same. But one thing you want to do, especially if you start changing bowling styles, is check your PAP every like every 3 to 4 months. It may change, it may not. Mine has stayed the same. Okay, moving on. You want to have the bevel sander. So this was a little bit pricey. This is about 170 bucks. And this is for beveling out the holes in your bowling ball. So pretty much the finger holes. You don't need to do it much. If you watch my videos, I may be using it for 10, 15 seconds just to bevel the top of the holes. That's it. But good investment, pretty solid make of this. I think innovative. This is an innovative brand. And I think the KR Strike Force is another brand that makes them. Coming back here, one thing that was a last for me to purchase was pitch gauges, right? So I bought the 3-pack. I think I paid like 300, just over 300 for these. So with a promo code. So you got one for the thumb, you got one for the fingers, and you got one if you had very small holes or grips in there. Like if you had the grips in the fingers, you put this in there. Although this isn't very accurate if you're trying to measure pitches with the grips in. So these came out to just over 100 bucks a pop. One of the last things I had to purchase because I thought I can get away without having these, and you definitely need these. So starting to add up yet? So everything's starting to get pricey. So like I said, 300 bucks. I got a couple files here, or rasps you call them, for rasping the Jopos. These were $7 on Amazon for a 2-pack, killer deal. You want to get grease pencils or your dry pencils. Pika dry pencils is what I got. And I've got all the different colors. Once again, I did a short review on my YouTube page. I did a video on those. So you get all the different colors, and they all work really good. Now you have to get the Pika dry refills. Right, Pika dry refills, I think for $9. They're like a buck each, just under a buck each, and they work really good. And they come off a little bit of rubbing alcohol or bowling ball cleaner. They come right off your ball. I've got all my cleaners in here. I've got acetone. I kind of keep, this is just miscellaneous stuff. Bowling ball cleaner. I got my super glue. I got a bottle of water, rubbing alcohol, whatnot. I've got all my bowling balls listed here with all the layout, so I can tell real quick. I've got my layout right here. So when I'm drilling balls, I can just look up real quick. Okay, I'm 1/16. I got to move 1/16 right pitch, quarter, reverse pitch on my thumb, whatnot. Okay, and then the last thing I have is an oven, right? So this is innovative. You don't need to spend the money I did. This is pretty much just a dehydrator. It's a food dehydrator. You could probably spend less than 100 bucks for one of these, right? I kind of wanted one that I knew was designed for bowling balls. This is pretty much set for 140 degrees. You cannot adjust the temperature on it. So it's 140 degrees, and it has an automatic timer. So you can set it for an hour, and you can make, I think it's like a 30-minute timer. You can do 30-minute increments, but it automatically turns off, I believe, at an hour. And I think that's about it. So I just have miscellaneous stuff. Oh yeah, the most important thing here too are the drill bits, right? So I've got all my drill bits in here. I only have the drill bits that I need for my sizes. So 31 32nd for the fingers, because I put inserts in there. If you have lady grips, you may, I think it's a size, I don't know the exact size, but it's a little bit smaller than this. If you're just looking to drill your bowling ball and nobody else's, I would just recommend getting the ones for yours, because they are really expensive. Drill bits 70 bucks. Here's the Jopo bit for Jopo. This was 250 bucks, I believe. So they add up, and I want to say it's pretty much, it's really expensive just because of this collar right here. All right, so if you can find a collar and put it on the drill and have it fit that, I think this was custom fit for that. This width is a 1.5 inch bit, then you might be able to save some money. But they have it perfectly sized on here so that when you go down, it just stops right on top of the ball. So especially if you're doing Jopo, you have to be very exact with this. Otherwise, your inner will actually stick up out of the ball, or it may go down too far. So you're going to have to splurge on a couple items. If you're doing interchangeables like Jopo, you definitely want to get the Jopo 1.5 inch bit. You're going to need a plug cutter. Okay, so this, if you watched my videos before, this is how you zero out the jig and the mill press, or the XY table, and make sure you're all zeroed out for when you do drill holes and you put your measurements in there, they're all 100% accurate. Also, when you want to start cutting plugs, definitely going to have this. 140 bucks. This is innovative, and you can actually take this out and replace this blade right here. I've used this maybe a dozen times, still super sharp, and I haven't needed replacement yet. Asked my PSO how often he replaces his blades, and he says a year, and he uses them all the time. So hopefully that'll last me just as long. Got a little bevel knife. You always use a bevel knife when you're kind of sanding things on the bowling ball. $7 on Amazon. I've got all my other drill bits. So I actually bought two 31/32. I have 1 and 7/64 bit. So this is what I use when I'm drilling out existing finger holes when I want to plug the bowling ball. So you're essentially just using this. If you watched my videos before, you saw them. I'm making the hole a little bit bigger so that you're getting rid of that bevel on the finger hole, so that when you do put the plug material in there, it's going to be perfect. Another one I have is a 1 1/8, right? Some of the used balls we get, the 1 7/64 would be a little bit too small. That's where the 1 1/8 comes in. I've got a 1 and, what is that one? 1 1/4. Okay. I don't think I've even used this one yet. I think I just got it just to get it, just to have it. And then I've got a 1.5 inch bit, right? So you watch my videos, I use a 1.5 inch bit, and for the thumb, interchangeable, the Jopo, and I go about 3 inches and I stop, and then I finish it up with the actual Jopo bit. Okay. Each one of these bits is around $60 to $80. All right. So do the math. When you're taking out inserts, this is an insert remover. This is a KR Strike Force. It fits 31/32. They have different sizes. Say you have lady fingers, get the smaller one, right? This one, I believe, was 35 bucks, if I'm not mistaken. And then I've got a caliper, right? So I got this on Amazon for 20 bucks. Killer deal. It's digital, right? If you saw my videos, I use this pretty much every time post drill. Make sure all my holes are perfect size, and you can also check the depth on the holes as well too, right? With that piece right there. So 20 bucks for that. And that's about it, right? So I don't think I have anything else in here. Make sure you have a good workspace. Like I bought this Husky toolbox for 200 bucks at Home Depot. They were on sale earlier this year, and they sold out within like a week or two. So look out for the good deals. The other one I had was like a Harbor Freight. It's kind of a piece of crap, but I got this, and it fits all my tools. Some of the other miscellaneous stuff you can get too. I've got the Jopo centralizer. This is not needed, but it's a nice thing to have. It's 160 bucks. And you watch my videos, I use this every time I glue in the Jopo thumbs. I've got all my sprays and everything in here. I got my polishes for the bowling ball, whatnot. I've got my epoxies. I got my glue. Another thing you want to invest in, if you want to take care of your drill press, is lube, right? So I get WD-40 dry lube, and it looks like this, right? So this is perfect for drill presses. And you definitely want to keep this lubricated, right? I'm always, like I said, my motto is if you take care of things, they'll take care of you, right? So if you abuse them, they're not going to last that long. So just take care of your stuff and they'll last for a long time. I haven't had any problem with any of this stuff yet. Another thing you're going to want to get to, and if you can see it down here, is a foot pedal. And I have the foot pedal connected to the vacuum. So boom, I don't have to constantly reach over and turn that off and on. I just go and hit the foot pedal. All right, so that's about it. I'll put the totals for everything up on the screen there for you. And so, like I said, I mainly did all this stuff because I'm a do-it-myselfer kind of person. My motto is if somebody else can do it, why can't I? And that's it. So if you have any questions about anything that you see here, if you're looking to get into, drilling your own bowling balls, you want to start kind of doing your stuff in your garage. I know some people back east, they may be super far from a pro shop. It's like a couple-hour drive, and they don't make the 2-hour drive to do that. I know some bowling alleys do not have pro shops. I haven't had any experience with having a bowling ball drilled from, like, say, Buddies or Bowler Smart. I know they do online drilling, so I don't know how that works, but I guess you can save some money if you want to do that too. But like I said, if you take pride in what you do and you want to start learning the trade, like I said, I haven't gone to any classes or anything for doing this. I am planning on doing the innovative class at the end of the year or next year. I didn't get to do it this year. And I definitely want to learn a little bit more. I'm going to also start tapping into plug-in bowling balls too. So that's something I think that's the last thing I have to learn is plug-in bowling balls. So right now, the brother-in-law plugs the bowling balls, and I cut them down. So that stuff, as I was actually doing research this morning, very, very expensive, but it can last you a long time. And I think I asked him this morning, how much what's the cost per breakdown per bowling ball for the plug material? Like, and he says around $5. So $5 to plug a bowling ball, that's killer, right? And you can get a lot of really good deals on bowling balls on eBay or on the Facebook marketplace or whatnot. So anyway, without rambling on, I hope I answered a lot of the questions that you may have had. If you have any questions about drill press, anything that you see here, feel free to ask away. I'm going to be doing the bowling ball. I'm going to continue to be doing drilling videos, plug cutting videos, bowling ball review videos. And like I said, if you see anything that you have a question on, feel free to leave a comment down below. If not, thanks for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. Been getting a lot of recent subscribers, and I thank you guys. So it really helped me out. My goal is to try to help you guys out. So if I can help you guys out in any way, that made my day. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.